I just spent way too much money on the latest iPad Pro, and I'm finally ready to say what nobody else wants to admit. Having the word Pro stamped on an Apple device doesn't mean what Cupertino wants you to think it means. If you're holding out hope that this gorgeous, insanely expensive piece of glass is going to replace your MacBook, you're being played by the Apple marketing machine. I have lived with the flagship Pro and the drastically cheaper iPad mini side by side for nearly a year, and the conclusion I have reached is going to shatter the imaginary Pro life you think you need. Because right now, the supply chain is leaking like crazy, and what is coming next completely changes the math on which tablet you should actually buy. Let's talk about the giant elephant in the room right away. Apple literally put a desktop-class chip inside a chassis that is thinner than an iPod Nano, and yet they refuse to let it run a full desktop operating system. The hardware is a complete masterpiece, but iPadOS acts like a straitjacket. You are paying a massive Apple tax for a device that gets tantalizingly close to being a real computer, only to slam the heavy door in your face the second you try to manage files properly or run dual audio streams. I tried leaving my laptop at home entirely. I grabbed the floating Magic Keyboard, the squeezable Apple Pencil, and tried to make it my only daily driver. It frustrated me to no end. Stage Manager is a neat parlor trick, but anyone who actually works for a living knows it doesn't give you seamless integration like a real Mac desktop environment. You are essentially paying up to $3,000 for the world's most glorious portable media machine. And wait, really? You think the current M series or the upcoming M5 chip is going to fix this? Mark Gurman recently dropped a massive bombshell that the M5 iPad Pro is already deep in development, and the folks over at DG Times are aggressively reporting that TSMC 3nm yields are hitting unprecedented efficiency levels. That sounds amazing on paper, but honestly, I'll believe it when I see it actually matching for daily use. What good is absurd computing power if the software artificially limits you? We are already seeing multiple reports of thermal throttling on these hyper-thin chassis designs when you push them hard in demanding applications. So you have all this raw horsepower, but it is entirely trapped inside a gilded cage. You're essentially paying extra for just two things right now: a slightly larger digital canvas and that absolute jaw-dropping tandem OLED display. Is an incredibly bright screen worth a massive $1,000 premium? Let me know down in the comments right now. What is the absolute maximum you would pay for a new iPad? Drop your price limit below, because I bet it is nowhere near what Apple is charging for their top-tier models right now. This brings me to the undisputed champion of the Apple ecosystem, the iPad mini. While the Pro tries to be a heavy laptop and fails, the Mini perfectly executes exactly what a tablet should actually be. It has big phone energy and zero weird pretensions. At roughly $500, it completely destroys the Pro in the one single metric that actually matters in the real world, which is pure portability. Portability beats power every single time. A wildly powerful M-series iPad sitting on your home desk because it is too heavy to carry is entirely useless compared to an A-series iPad mini that easily slips right into your winter coat pocket. You pick it up without thinking about it. You take it on a cross-country flight, and it perfectly slots directly into the seat pocket in front of you. Airline pilots literally use it in cramped cockpits because it neatly fits into tight spaces where the massive Pro simply will not go. You get 90% of the core premium iPad experience for a total fraction of the cost. You can easily edit short-form video, smash through your morning emails, manage your noisy chat groups, and sketch out quick ideas without carrying a massive heavy bag. But do not get me wrong, the current Mini is definitely showing its age, and the leaks about the next generation are totally wild. Ming-Chi Kuo recently detailed that Apple is heavily investing in the next Mini refresh, and supply chain sources directly from the LEC suggest we might finally see massive screen improvements very soon. The current 60 Hz refresh rate in a modern world rapidly moving toward high refresh standards is frankly embarrassing to look at. Jelly scroll and vertical portrait mode is still a harsh reality, and the maximum brightness makes sunny outdoor use a total annoying nightmare. But here is the totally crazy part. Even with those glaring flaws, the Mini is the only Apple tablet I actually reach for on a daily basis. Fresh rumors originating from Makotakra indicate the next Mini could finally feature thinner bezels and possibly ditch the old Touch ID for a modern Face ID array, bringing it closer to the premium design language of its bigger, expensive siblings. Ross Young has been actively teasing display hardware upgrades that could finally eliminate that dreaded jelly scroll effect for good. If Cupertino actually delivers an OLED iPad mini with promotion, it is absolutely game over for every single other tablet sitting on the market. Until that rumored flawless hardware drops, you still have to deal with the annoying naked glass feeling when using the Apple Pencil on any current Apple tablet. Let us be entirely real for a second. Tapping a hard plastic tip directly against a smooth glass screen feels completely terrible. It is exactly why slapping a premium matte screen protector on your expensive display is basically a mandatory requirement. The rough texture completely changes how you natively interact with the entire device. You get that deeply satisfying friction that actually makes drawing and taking handwritten notes feel like real paper. The annoying slippage is gone. The harsh glare disappears entirely, and suddenly your ultra-shiny fingerprint magnet becomes a legitimate portable digital sketchbook. It makes using the tablet so much more highly comfortable, whether you're marking up a complicated script or just casually doom scrolling at 2 in the morning. So how do you actually decide between the bleeding-edge Massive Pro and the hyper-portable Tiny Mini? You genuinely have to look at your existing computing setup. If you run a heavy Mac Studio or a stationary iMac at your office desk, and you desperately need a heavy-duty portable screen to remote into your main workstation, the Giant Pro is going to serve you extremely well. It perfectly fills the empty laptop void for dedicated desktop users. But if you already confidently own a thin MacBook Air or a powerful MacBook Pro, buying an expensive iPad Pro is just entirely redundant. You're literally buying the exact same weight class twice. The Tiny Mini dramatically enhances a modern laptop setup because it perfectly does what rigid laptops cannot do. It is a highly dedicated reading device, a fast AI interface, and a lightweight handheld companion that never once makes you feel guilty for just lounging around and consuming video content. Apple desperately wants to upsell you. They actively want you caught up in the expensive hype of nano texture glass and ultra-fast M-class processors. But the honest truth is, the best technological device is always the one that effortlessly fits perfectly into your messy life. The iPad mini does exactly that every single day. I genuinely want to hear from the heavy tech users out there. Are you patiently holding out for the rumored OLED mini? Or did you already drop your hard-earned cash on the latest insanely thin Pro? Hit the comments section right now and let us fiercely argue about it. The harsh reality of the Apple tax is that you heavily pay for the premium hardware, but you are forced to live with the limited software. Choose the specific one that actually makes your daily life noticeably easier.